Hi, my name is Dave. I work in the MQ department, and today I'm going to explain a little bit why certain Grove pieces will have a separate base set with them. So part of the reason for this example is that we're seeing a lot of damage with a lot of the larger Grove pieces, case pieces. This one obviously is just going to be an example to show how the base is put on. A lot of these are snapping legs in transit, so that's the reason for the separate base. So as far as delivering this piece, one of the things you want to remember is to have a very clear walkway into the home and a very clean blanket laid out, because you will be flipping these pieces over inside the customer's home to attach the base. So your next step is the assembly in home, and we're going to go over just a couple of the steps you take to roll a piece over. And again, this is for demonstration only. The pieces you're going to be working with are going to be a lot bigger than this. The knobs will not be on the piece that you're flipping. That's something you'll do after you put the base on. What you want to do is make sure that you always have hands on the drawers or shrink wrapped tight drawers, because they slip out very easy. You always want to roll toward the back, and you want to have at least a rolled up blanket or two so that it lifts your bottom edge off the ground while you roll, so you can get your fingers under if it's like this. So what you want to do is have something to prop so that you can roll easily and flip it onto its back. So here's an example of how we would use a blanket as a roller to keep the piece up off the ground and make it a little easier to flip. Obviously you'll have another blanket back here for the top to land on once you roll it over. So you're going to make sure you hold the drawer tight, roll it, keeps this edge up, and then you can tip on its top. So now we're at the step where we're actually going to attach the base to the piece. You can see that there's one unfinished edge of this base. You always want to make sure that that is on the back of your case piece. Most of them should all have this one unfinished back edge. What you're going to do is lift it up, and you're going to center every one of the bases. Typically what we do is left to right, side to side, and then front to back. So this one is an even 2 inches side to side, and it's an even 2 inches from front to back. Once you have your base centered and set, you can start to put in your screws. They're all pocket screws, and you're going to use a square head drill bit to try to attach them. There's no pre-drilling involved. You're just going straight into the base. Helps to start on one side and then do a diagonal to keep the base from slipping. Once you have two locked in, you can pretty much go around the rest of the piece and finish it off. So at this point in the process, we are going to roll the piece over. This is where a lot of the damage happens. Due to the weight of the piece on these legs, they have a tendency to snap while rolling. So what you want to do is, again, make sure you have your hand on the drawers, or very tightly shrink wrapped drawers. You want to roll. This is obviously a two-person job when you're rolling. Once you get it to a good point, you want to lift and also support the bottom while flipping it, so that you're not putting all the weight on these legs. So kind of a lift and a swing. So this is a typical Grove piece right here. They can be this big, they can be shorter with a lot more drawers, but pretty much what you want to do is make sure all your shelves are out, your sliding doors are supported while you flip, any drawers are secured tightly. There's a lot of weight on these legs. That's where the damage